The evening sky over the research outpost glowed a dull orange, the kind that made everything look tired and worn. The human technician moved across the empty walkway, carrying a small case filled with repair tools. He had finished late again. Most workers were already inside, but he didn't mind the quiet. Silence for him was a kind of comfort. It gave him space to think. Still, something felt different tonight. As he walked toward the security gate, he felt a strange tension in the air, like the atmosphere itself held its breath. He paused, looking around. The outpost sat on the edge of a rocky valley, surrounded by soft humming towers and blinking lights. Nothing looked unusual, but a small shiver went down his spine. It was the same uneasy feeling he sometimes got right before a storm. He continued walking, trying to shake it off, but his steps slowed when he noticed a faint sound behind him. It wasn't loud, just a soft metallic shift, almost like armor brushing stone. He turned, expecting to see a guard or a worker. But the pathway behind him was empty. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he needed sleep. He started again, but the feeling grew stronger. He wasn't alone. Years of work in dangerous zones had sharpened his instincts. Something or someone was watching him. He stopped again, letting the case hang at his side. "Hello," he called softly, his voice steady even though his heart felt tight. "Is someone there?" For a moment there was nothing. Then a light breeze moved across the path, though the air had been still just seconds ago. The towers hummed a little louder. The shadows near the far end of the platform shifted, not because of the lights, but because something stepped into view. At first, he thought it was a normal figure, maybe a soldier in heavy gear. But as the shape came closer, he saw the silhouette was far too tall, the posture too precise, and the movements too controlled. The person's breath caught in his chest. A tall alien figure, armored in dark metallic plates with soft blue lines running across the surface, walked toward him slowly. Her steps were soundless, graceful in a way that made the whole scene feel unreal. Her mask covered most of her face, but her eyes, bright, sharp, and strangely familiar, watched him with deep focus. He didn't step back. He didn't run. Something about her presence felt intense but not unsafe. She stopped several feet away and stood silent, as if studying him, confirming something only she understood. The human swallowed gently. Do I know you?" he asked quietly. The figure didn't answer at first. Her head tilted slightly, like she was remembering something from long ago. When she spoke, her voice was calm, smooth, and carried a faint echo behind each word. "You do not remember." "But I do." A wave of confusion washed over him. He had worked in different war zones, different rescue missions, different repair deployments along alien borders. He had helped strangers in battles he barely survived. It was possible he had crossed paths with her, but he couldn't place it. She took another slow step forward. Her armor shifted softly, like it adjusted to her movements. Her eyes softened, even behind the mask. "Years ago," she said, "I was wounded during a border conflict. My own forces left me behind. You were repairing a station when you found me." He blinked, searching his memory. He remembered many injuries, many frightened faces, many quick decisions. But something about her voice stirred a faint image: dust, smoke, a collapsed wall, and someone breathing weakly beneath it. "You carried me," she continued, "even though you were told to leave instantly. You refused. You saved my life." The memory hit him suddenly, like a sharp light breaking through darkness. He had found an alien soldier under fallen debris, barely conscious, armor cracked and sparking. He had lifted her onto his back, even though enemy scanners were approaching. He risked everything to drag her into a shelter until help arrived. He didn't know if she survived. He had always wondered. "You," he whispered, staring at her with widened eyes. "You were the one trapped under the tower." "Yes," she replied softly. "I was." He took a slow breath, unsure what to say. He had saved lives before, but not expecting any recognition. To be remembered by someone like her, someone who clearly held high status. Someone powerful felt surreal. Before he could speak again, she raised a hand gently, almost as if calming him. "I have searched for you," she said quietly. "Across star systems. Across years. Because a life debt is not forgotten." He opened his mouth to respond, but she continued, her voice shifting from gentle to serious. "And now," she said, "you are the one in danger." A cold ripple ran through him. Danger? From what? She looked toward the dark valley behind the outpost. Her posture changed, calmer, yet alert. Her armor brightened slightly. "A shadow moves toward this outpost," she said. "A threat that is not yet visible to your people. But I sensed it. I came because you must leave before it reaches you." He felt his heartbeat rise again, but not from fear of the unknown. It was the strange realization that this being, this warrior, had come all the way from her world, just to warn him. "You came. For me?" he asked. Her eyes held something deep, something almost warm. "You saved me once," she said. "Now I have returned to save you." The platform lights flickered faintly. A soft vibration trembled along the metal floor, so slight that no alarm triggered, but strong enough for both of them to feel. Something was coming. He looked at her, uncertain, but trusting her instinct. "What do I need to do?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Follow me. Stay close. And do not look back when the sound begins." He swallowed, nodding slowly. The tension in the air grew heavier, like a storm preparing to break, and as the first distant rumble echoed across the valley, he realized his life was about to change again, just like it did years ago. On the day he pulled a wounded stranger from the rubble. Only this time, the stranger had come back for him. The human followed her down the dim walkway, unsure where she was leading him, but trusting her calm urgency. The quiet outpost suddenly felt too quiet, as if everything around them was listening. The wind had stopped. The humming towers seemed muted. Even the ground felt still. She moved with silent precision, each step steady and controlled. Her tall frame cast a long shadow across the metallic floor. He stayed close behind, gripping the small repair case, even though he knew it wouldn't help with whatever danger she sensed. A low vibration trembled under their feet. He felt it before he heard anything. It was subtle, like distant thunder buried beneath the planet's crust. "What is that?" he whispered. "You didn't turn." "Not here. We must move before it locks onto your trace." "My trace?" he repeated, confused. "Your work leaves a pattern, energy signatures, movement paths, heat trails. Enough for it to follow." Her tone was steady, but he could hear a tightness underneath, something close to concern. Not fear, but a controlled awareness of risk. They rounded a corner leading to a restricted maintenance area, rarely used by anyone except him and a few engineers. He frowned. "Why here?" "It is the only place where your signature is weak," she said. "Machines do not record in this sector. The walls block scanners." He stopped walking for a moment. "You mean the outpost's own scanners?" Her gaze dropped to him gently. "Not the outposts. Something else is searching." That cold ripple returned to his spine. She stepped into the maintenance chamber and motioned for him to follow. The large room was empty except for pipes, wiring panels, and unused crates stacked high. A faint blue glow moved across her armor as she scanned the room. "Stay beside me," she said. He stepped closer. The moment he did, the chamber lights flickered. The vibration under the floor grew slightly stronger, not violent, but intentional, as if whatever hunted him was getting closer and understood exactly where to go next. He took a slow breath. "Why me? Why would something be searching for me?" She studied the shadows before answering. "Because of what you carry," he blinked. "Carry?" "I don't." "Yes, you do," she interrupted softly. Your actions carry weight. Choices, sacrifices, compassion. These things create a mark. Some beings sense that mark. He stared at her, confused yet oddly moved. You're saying something is hunting me because I helped someone. Because you helped me, she corrected. Because you acted with courage when others ran. The moment you lifted me from the rubble, you changed paths far beyond your world. He looked away, unsure how to respond. He never saw himself as a hero. He had simply done what felt right, even when it put him at risk. Another tremor shook the platform outside, stronger this time. A soft alarm beeped from the far corner of the room, not from danger, but from metal shifting under stress. She turned sharply toward the entrance. It has found the outpost. He felt his heart drop. Is it coming here? She nodded once, slowly. Yes. He backed up a step. What does it want? To erase the one who changed the outcome of a battle, she replied. You shifted a line in history that was never meant to move. Some forces do not accept changes to their path. He stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. He had no idea saving one wounded alien years ago could echo this far. A faint sound drifted in from the hallway, something too light to be footsteps, too soft to be machinery. It was almost like a whisper sliding across metal. She stepped closer to him, her voice low. Do not be afraid. It is not stronger than me. Despite his fear, her presence steadied him. There was something protective in her stance, something unshaken. She had once been the fragile figure under broken rubble. Now she stood between him and danger. The sound came again, closer, clearer, like a delicate tapping across the floor. He swallowed hard. Is it alive? Yes, she said quietly. But not like us. The lights flickered again, then steadied. She moved in front of him, blocking his view of the doorway. Her armor brightened, the blue lines on her body glowing more intensely as if preparing. You must leave this world, she said. It is not safe for you now. He shook his head. Leave? I can't. My job, my people, everything is here. Your people will survive, she said. But you will not if you remain. Her words felt heavy. Final. He stepped beside her instead of behind her. I'm not running away. I didn't leave you behind, remember? Her eyes softened with something like gratitude or something deeper. I know, that is why I came. But this danger is not a battle you can fight. Then we face it together, he said quietly. For a moment, she didn't speak. She looked at him with an expression he couldn't fully understand: admiration, frustration, and a deep sense of responsibility. You humans. She whispered, always choosing courage when fear would be easier. The tapping sound grew louder, slow, careful, searching. She raised her arm, activating a faint energy shield that curved around them like a soft blue shell. You stay behind me, she said firmly, though her voice held warmth. If anything reaches us, you run. He tightened his grip on the empty repair case, knowing it was useless, but unable to drop it. I'm staying. The alien warrior breathed out once, quietly, almost like a sigh of acceptance. Then the sound outside stopped. The silence felt heavier than noise, pressing against the walls, waiting, listening. He leaned closer to her, whispering, Is it gone? Her eyes narrowed. No, it is deciding. A chill spread across his skin. Deciding what? Her voice lowered to a calm whisper. Whether to enter or find another path. The chamber temperature dropped slightly. A soft pulse vibrated through the walls, like a signal being sent back to something unseen. He looked up at her. What do we do now? She didn't answer immediately. She stared at the door, her posture perfectly still, her eyes locked on something he couldn't see. Finally, she turned her head slightly toward him and spoke in a gentle, steady tone. We wait. And when it chooses, so will we. She didn't move. He didn't breathe. The outpost around them felt frozen between one moment and the next dot, and somewhere in the quiet hallway. The unseen threat made its choice. The silence stretched so long that every second felt heavier than the last. The human stood close to her, trying to steady his breathing. The alien warrior didn't move, her body firm and focused like a shield made of metal and instinct. The soft blue lines across her armor pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Then the faintest sound drifted through the hallway, a thin, distant hum. It wasn't mechanical, but it wasn't natural either. It felt like something gently brushing against the edges of the world, testing, sensing, searching for something specific. Her eyes sharpened. "It's found your trace again." He tried to keep his voice calm. "Does it know we're here?" "It knows you're near," she said. "But it doesn't understand walls like we do. It sees through energy, not doors." He glanced around the room, uneasy. "Is there any way to hide from it completely?" "There is," she said. "But you won't like it." He looked at her with confusion. "Tell me anyway." She finally turned to face him fully, her gaze a mix of caution and quiet resolve. "To hide your trace, I must mask you with my signal." "Your signal?" He repeated. "My presence," she clarified. "My energy. My shield. If I place you inside its pattern, the creature will sense only me, not you." He waited for the part that made it complicated. "But," she continued softly, "it requires close contact. Very close. My shield must align with your heartbeat so it can overwrite your signature." He swallowed. It wasn't fear of her, it was the idea of being that close to something so powerful, something he barely understood. But he nodded without hesitation. "If that's what we need to do," he said, "then let's do it." She looked at him for a long second, as if studying the sincerity in his eyes. When she spoke again, her voice was gentler. "You trust too easily." "I trust you," he said simply. Something shifted in her expression, something warm, almost fragile beneath her armor. She stepped closer, lifting one hand slowly so he wouldn't feel startled. "Then hold still." Her palm hovered just above his chest, not touching, but close enough that he felt a soft warmth spreading outward. The blue glow from her armor brightened, flowing from her hand like gentle light. The room dimmed as the glow surrounded him, forming a faint mist that settled onto his skin. His heartbeat quickened for a moment, but she spoke softly. "Breathe normally." He tried. The warmth wrapped around him, almost like he was standing in sunlight after a long cold night. It wasn't discomfort. It was calm, protective, steady. "You're doing well," she murmured, adjusting the shield so it aligned with his breathing pattern. "What happens next?" He asked quietly. "Now," she said, "I make you invisible to it." The hum in the hallway grew sharper, as if the creature suddenly realized it had lost something. A low ripple ran along the floor. But instead of focusing on the room they were in, the sound moved past the door, confused, searching in another direction. "It's not sensing you anymore," she said. "The masking is working." He let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "How far can this shield carry us?" "Far enough," she said. "But it cannot last forever. You are human. Your body cannot hold my signature for long. And what happens when it wears off?" She lowered her hand slowly, though the faint glow around him remained. "Then I will stand in front of you again." The hum outside shifted sharply, like the creature had discovered a trail that wasn't supposed to be there. It moved fast, sliding across the floor with a strange, fluid rhythm. "It's heading toward the outer dome," she whispered. "It's trying to flank us." "We need to move," he said. "Yes," she agreed. "Follow me. But stay within the glow. If you step out, even for a moment, it will sense you again." They moved quickly through the maintenance chamber, down a narrow side passage used only for emergency repairs. The walls were rough metal, cold to the touch. Every distant sound echoed, making it hard to tell how far away the creature truly was. He walked close behind her, matching her steps. Her presence felt steady, like a guardian guiding him through a storm. "How did you find me after all these years?" he asked quietly. Even in the rush, she answered with surprising honesty. "I never forgot your face, or your voice, or the pain you pushed through to carry me." He felt a slow warmth in his chest, different from the glow of her shield. "I didn't think I made that much difference." "You changed everything," she said softly. "My people expected me to die that day. But because you saved me, I returned alive. And stronger. It altered the direction of my life." She paused before adding, "And now I refuse to let your story end because of me." The sincerity in her words struck him deeply. Before he could respond, a sudden tremor shook the corridor. Dust fell from the ceiling. The hum intensified, sharp and angry. "It's close," she said, her voice low. A sliver of blue mist flickered around him, almost disconnecting. She quickly placed her hand near his shoulder to stabilize it. "Stay focused," she said softly. "Your fear disrupts the shield." "I'm trying," he whispered. "You're doing well," she assured him. "Just stay with me." Her words were steady, almost soothing. The shield steadied again, the glow returning to full strength. They reached a junction where the corridor split into 3 paths. She stopped, listening carefully, her head tilted. "It's blocking the back exit," she said. "What do we do?" he asked. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "There is only one route left. A direct path to the landing field." He frowned. "But the landing field is open space. No walls, no cover." "Yes," she said. "Which is why it won't expect us to go there." He nodded slowly. "So, we run across open ground while that thing is hunting us?" "Yes," she replied calmly. "But you won't be alone." He looked up at her, trusting her again. "Lead the way." Her armor brightened fully, casting blue light across the metal corridor. She reached out, gently resting her hand near his arm without touching him, just close enough to keep the shield strong. "Stay with me," she said softly. "Whatever happens next, do not let go of this glow." He breathed deeply, steadying himself. "I won't." She turned toward the landing field access tunnel, her movement confident and sure. Behind them, the creature let out a distant, sharp hum, one that made the walls tremble. It had chosen its path, and now, so had they. The access tunnel opened into a wide chamber, and beyond it lay the landing field, a long stretch of open ground under the dim evening sky. The soft glow of station lights dotted the edges, but most of the area was dark and quiet. It looked peaceful from a distance, but both of them knew peace was only a skin stretched over something dangerous. The human stepped forward cautiously. The alien warrior stayed close at his side, her shield still wrapped around him like warm light. Her focus never broke. Every part of her posture said she was ready to protect him, even if she had to stand against something far stronger. They walked toward the open field. But halfway through the tunnel, she paused. "It's here," she whispered. His breath caught. "Where?" She didn't answer with words. Instead, she slowly lifted her hand toward the far left corner of the landing ground. A patch of darkness shifted, just slightly, but enough for him to see it wasn't a shadow. It was something alive. Something thin and tall, yet terribly quiet. Almost graceful. Its body blended with the darkness as if it wasn't meant to be seen by human eyes. The air around it pulsed gently, matching the same hum they'd heard inside. The human froze. "It doesn't see you," she said calmly. "It sees only me. What will it do?" He whispered. She stepped forward. "Test me." The creature moved without sound. One moment it stood at a distance. The next it glided several meters closer, its form flickering like a disturbed reflection. It wasn't aggressive, not yet. It was curious, studying the powerful alien who stood between it and the human trace it had been following. She raised her hand slowly, switching her armor's glow to a deeper tone. "Stay behind me, no matter what happens." He didn't argue. He stood right within the soft edge of her shield. Trusting her completely, the creature extended a narrow limb toward her, almost as if smelling the air around her. She responded with a quiet, steady tone. "He is under my protection." The creature paused, as if considering her claim. Then it released a sharper hum that vibrated through the ground. "What does that mean?" he asked softly. "It challenges my right to protect you," she said. "It wants proof." "Proof of what?" "That you matter," she replied gently. He stared at her, stunned. "Matter? To who?" "To me." The warmth in her voice startled him. Not romantic, not dramatic, but sincere. Like a truth she didn't want to hide anymore. The creature moved closer. Her armor shifted, preparing. She didn't lift her weapon or charge. Instead, she stepped forward and lowered her shield slightly, just enough for the creature to examine her energy pattern. "You survived because of him," she said quietly, speaking to the creature as if it understood language far beyond sound. "And he survived because of me. Our paths are linked." The creature responded with a deep, rising hum that shook the air. "He changed my destiny," she continued. "And now I choose to change his." The creature paused. Then, slowly, it turned its gaze toward the shield around the human. Even though it couldn't sense him clearly, it could feel something there, something unusual, something human. The hum lowered into a quiet tone. It was thinking. She didn't move. She waited with calm patience, showing no fear. He watched her, realizing again how different she was from the frightened soldier he once carried through smoke and darkness. She had become someone far stronger, far wiser. And she still remembered him. Finally, the creature withdrew its limb. "It accepts," she whispered. He let out a long breath of relief. "So it's leaving?" "Yes," she said. "It will remove itself from this world." They watched as the strange being slowly faded back into the shadows, the pulsing hum growing softer, then silent. In moments, it was gone like it had never existed at all. The shield around the human dimmed. The glow softened. "You're safe now," she said quietly. He turned to her, still trying to fully process everything. "It left because of you." "It left because of us," she corrected gently. "You showed courage again. Even fear could not erase your strength." He stepped closer, the soft glow fading completely as she released the shield entirely. He could now see her clearly, her tall frame, her calm eyes, her steady presence that felt safer than any wall or weapon. "You came across galaxies for me," he said softly. "Just to repay a moment I barely remember." She tilted her head slightly. "Humans speak as if kindness is small. To my people, it is not. When someone chooses compassion in the darkest place, we honor it forever." He felt something warm fill his chest. "What happens now?" She looked up at the landing field, the quiet night sky stretching endlessly above them. "Now," she said slowly, "I take you away from this world. For a time." He frowned. "Away? Why me?" "Because the creature will not return," she explained. "But the echo of this path may reach others. Until your trace fades, you cannot remain here." He hesitated. "So I leave." "With you?" "Yes," she said calmly. "I will take you where I can protect you. Where you can rest. Where no one can hunt you again." He studied her eyes. "How long?" "Until you choose to return," she said. "Your life is yours. I only guard it." Her words were simple, yet something inside him understood the deeper meaning. She wasn't just protecting him out of duty. She was choosing him, just as he had once chosen to lift her from the rubble. Without hesitation, without reward, he took a quiet breath. "I trust you." A soft warmth passed over her face, like a smile hidden beneath her mask. "Then come," she said. "My vessel waits." He walked beside her across the open field, leaving behind the outpost, the shadows, and the danger that had followed him across years. The evening sky opened above them, calm and wide, as if giving them permission to start something new. And as they reached the landing pad, her voice drifted softly toward him. "You saved me once, human. Now let me guide your next steps." He didn't know where the journey would lead, but for the first time in a long time, he wasn't walking alone.